Hi guys, Romans here and welcome to another reaction video. Today is going to be a new single from Linkin Park, Biting Myself. It's unbelievable that this year is gonna be 6 years since the passing of Chester. It seems like it was just yesterday. This is the third single of unreleased material with Chester. This year their sophomore album Meteora is celebrating 20th anniversary and there's quite a lot of unreleased material there. This is the second single. If this video proves successful, I can look on the previous single as well. So as per usual, we're gonna look at the music and mainly the lyrics. Did something backwards. Sounds just like Meteora record.
Sometimes these thoughts in my head speak so loud. Every little thing that I think about just builds on top of the pain and doubt. Even though I want
kind of a faint vibes.
Try to act like I don't mind it. Try to keep my mouth so quiet, but sitting there in my silence just seems to amplify it. When I thought that keeping this inside would make it better, I never thought that I would end up ruining it forever. But
very cool
every
music
time
video.
I think I got everything put back together, I end up making more regrets, making more regrets. Falling from grace.
Okay, let's look at the lyrics. A cool sounding track. It just goes on to show how much material they actually had when working on Meteora. And considering that they didn't reuse these tracks on the following records, it's just... that must have been interesting. You know, like, okay, here's a bunch of like 20 songs. Let's put 10 best songs or 11 or whatever on the record. Good old times. Bands don't really do that anymore, do they? Now, sometimes these thoughts in my head speak so loud. Every little thing that I think about just build on top of the pain and doubt. Even though I want to just let it out, I try to act like I don't mind, try to keep my mouth so quiet. Okay, so rather than analyzing verse by verse or line by line, it's better to just kind of look at the whole picture. Yeah, these thoughts in my head speak so loud. So it's like, you know, they're thoughts. So obviously no one apart from you can hear them. But these thoughts are so strong that they create this metaphorical noise that you find yourself to be in. Every little thing that I think about just build on top of the pain and doubt. So a lot of those thoughts are probably made of pain and doubt, made of depression essentially. Even though I want to let it out, I try to act like I don't mind it. Try to keep my mouth so quiet. Everybody knows that Chester died because he was suffering from depression, from a very strong case of depression, which is actually why he took his life. And it's pretty common. I would say that in these times, maybe more so than ever before, people are just so depressed. There's so much darkness in our thoughts. I think that this verse paints an interesting picture in that talking about your problem is the most important thing. If there's anything bothering you, being able to talk about it is the most important step. And it's much harder than it seems because a lot of people are like, oh, you know, talk about it, whatever, I have friends. But admitting you have a problem is the most important step. And then when you talk about it, it gets much easier from that moment on, I think. And I know it for myself because I'm a type of a person who, when I have some kind of a mental struggles, I'm not really the one to talk about it. It's just that it's almost like considered to be a sign of weakness when you talk about it. It's like, come on, be a man, deal with it. This isn't a healthy attitude. You got to be able to talk about your problems. You got to have people who you can talk to. And if you don't have friends or family, then just find a professional help. There's no shame in it. I myself have visited a psychiatrist a couple of times in my life. Sitting there in my silence just seems to amplify it. So he won't talk about it. He's absolutely quiet about it. And that even amplifies that loudness of these thoughts because you don't let them out and they're just going to keep bubbling up in your head. Nothing good can come out of it. I never thought that I would end up ruining it forever, but every time I think I got everything put back together, I end up making more regrets, I think that these lyrics probably were written by Chester because this is basically autobiographical. And it goes on to show that many years before his death, he was already suffering a lot. Yeah, and there are these moments, these bright moments when you think like, okay, I got it under control. You know, I haven't talked to anybody about it, but no problem. It's okay now. You know, it's a problem that's going to come back and bite you much harder the second time it comes around. And every time it comes back, it's just going to be stronger and stronger if you don't really talk about it and don't address the issue. I end up making more regrets. So regrets in this case really maybe just keeping it to yourself and not sharing it. So falling from grace, I watch it all come apart, knowing I could have changed it all from the start. Fighting myself, I always lose. Fighting myself, I always lose. I don't think there's anybody who can talk about his problems or her problems right from the start, but the sooner you start, the better it gets. The less damage is going to be made. So fighting yourself in this way is really the hardest thing.
I think I'm worn out so easily. I wish I'd held it in so you never knew it built up inside of me. Now I don't know how it overflowed, spilled out unwillingly. But now everything that I learned to hate came out for you to see. I don't want you to promise you can change everything and make it better. Cause you can bet I'm gonna end up ruining it forever. And every time you think you got everything put back together, I end up making more regrets, making more regrets. Falling from grace, I watch it all come apart, knowing I could have changed it all from the start. Fighting myself, I always lose. Fighting myself, I always lose. Falling from grace, I watch it all come apart, knowing I could have changed it all from the start. Fighting myself, I always lose. Fighting myself, I always lose.
I didn't want you to think that I'm worn out so easily. I wish I'd held it in so you never knew what built up inside of me. This is just kind of coming back to what we've already talked about. If you don't talk about your problems, you don't wear out that easily. You're a strong man. You're a strong personality. Very unhealthy attitude. And I wish I'd held it in so you never knew what was building up inside of me. So it's probably talking about either a potential partner or a friend. He doesn't want to be seen vulnerable in front of that person. Or maybe he just doesn't want to put all that weight on someone else. And I think that this is very important to realize that when these people have problems, many times when they talk about it, we try to come up with some sort of advice, if I were you, I would do this or I would do that. And actually talking about suicide, there were quite a lot of cases of young people committing suicides in the last couple of months in Slovakia. And there was this one girl who, I think she had an argument with her boyfriend and she disappeared, and a couple days later they found her body in a river. And she was very beautiful girl, and a lot of people were like, why would she kill herself when she's so beautiful? And I'm like, seriously, are you this stupid? It doesn't matter whether you're good looking or not. Your mental problems are there regardless of that. And that's why I'm saying when somebody comes and tells you their problems, most of the time they don't really want you to come up with some advice or tell them something. They just want to be heard. And just letting it off and you being there for them is usually enough. If they want some sort of advice, they might ask you. But just, if you know about somebody who's like that in your circles, just be there for them, listen to them, and pay attention to little signs, and try to make sure that they don't let this destroy them. Now, I don't know how it overflows, spill out unwillingly, but now everything that I learned to hate come out for you to see. Okay, so maybe at one point there will be just so much of it that regardless of his strength and resilience, he will simply spit it out. That's not the way you want someone to find out. You want to talk about it on your terms. You want to talk about it when you're ready, not when things become unbearable. Maybe you may even end up with someone you don't really want to share that with. And also you got to be careful who you talk to, because, some people may not be the best at keeping secrets or best at helping you. Everything that I learned to hate came out for you to see. All these things about me, all that stuff that I hate, I learned to hate, you can finally see that. You can see me for who I am, and I don't like it. I don't want you to promise you can change everything and make it better, because you can bet I'm going to end up ruining it forever. So this is basically, they don't want the advice. They just want you to listen. Otherwise, it's empty promises, don't worry about it, it's going to get better. Those are empty phrases that don't really mean anything. And every time you think you got everything put back together, I end up making more regrets. Yeah. Really good sound, considering that this was probably just a demo.
I can't run
Nice. Very good song. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and just a few things before we wrap this video up. I have my own Spotify playlist which I'm updating every 2 weeks. You can find a link for it along with all of the links where you can follow me in the description of this video below. Also, I'm releasing my second album this summer and you're gonna wanna check it out because it's a really great record and very unique. Progressive rock, progressive metal without guitars but with drums, bass, saxophone and keyboards. There are a couple of singles for you to check out. If you want a heavier song, go here. Another banger is here. This is more of a popish track, and of course if you're new to the channel, you'll help me out a lot if you subscribe, so thanks a lot for watching.